What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So yeah, I wrote this down, but of course I just skipped it on my notes yesterday. But yes, and I know it's sacrilegious I'm starting this video off with the UCLA player, but the top defensive lineman, Leatu Latu, was at the Chargers facility yesterday, I'm sure on one of his top 30 visits or whatever they call it, and took a picture with the new head coach, Jim Harbaugh, and all this stuff. So, Jim or John, I already forgot. But yes, either way, it's obvious that he's a very talented guy. I don't know why they would be really looking at him unless it is kind of true that they are going to trade back that number 5 overall pick and pick up some more picks in that first round. I guess it's still an option, so they're just doing their homework. And I know he's a really good player. He definitely disrupted USC this last season quite a bit, and that's why UCLA won. But he does have a medical history where he was almost kicked out. Wasn't basically kicked out. He was just stopped playing football because of a pretty serious back injury. But a few years later, he got cleared by the doctors and everything's fine. But whenever the Chargers have taken a shot on one of these guys, especially very early, who have a really bad injury past, it hasn't really turned out well for them. So, I mean, I guess if he's the second pick of your first round, it's fine. But if he's your main first guy, then I think they should move on and maybe not select him. And it's not just the UCLA thing. It's just the whole injury thing and the Chargers' bad luck with that. And then, yes, the star freshman Juju Watkins on the women's USC side did win another. More of congratulations from the USA Today newspaper. I think she won the Freshman of the Year for them and a first-team All-American selection from them as well. So I don't know how important those are because they've been showing them quite a bit, but obviously I know the USA Today newspaper, so it's a pretty big outlet. I know it's pretty much the Naismith All-America and all that stuff, but this was a pretty high-profile one, so either way, congrats to her. And Mackenzie Forbes, one of those super senior players on the USC women's basketball side, did declare for the WNBA draft. She was pretty talented while she was playing out there in Harvard, I believe is where she came from. Was it Harvard? Or no, it was probably Columbia. I know they probably have a rivalry too, so that's my bad. But yes, an Ivy League school, so very smart girl. Definitely played very well. Was probably the second best player on the USC women's side on the basketball end. So yeah, she definitely has a chance to get drafted, maybe first round, just because of how talented she is. But she is a year older than most players going into the draft, so we will see. But if she's declaring, then she's hearing some good stuff. So either way, look forward to seeing where she ends up playing for her pro future. And then one of the top, I think he's like the number 1 tight end in the 2026 class. He recently put out a top 15 and has USC in there. His name is Keandre Harrison. Either way, very talented player at his position, maybe the best at that, and he still is considering USC, so that's a good start for them. And the incoming USC quarterback, Julian Juju Lewis, did recently sign an NIL deal with a company called Cactus Jack. I believe it's a clothing company from that rapper Travis Scott, who I guess he's working with another company called Mitchell and Ness, who work with Fanatics. So I think that's why Travis Scott, that rapper, was on campus recently, kind of showing out probably what the new clothes are going to be that he's releasing at some point. And some of it looked pretty cool, what Julian Lewis was wearing. It's like a throwback to like the, I would say, 70s and 80s USC look. But either way, if this doesn't get that quarterback onto USC's campus, then I don't know what the heck does, because he's already being promoted in their gear and getting all these opportunities. Yeah, he probably could have gotten a couple of different opportunities, but these are pretty big profile ones when you're working with a clothing company with Fanatics and, you know, one of the main popular rappers out there in the country. So either way, this better be him securing the bag, as they say. And then, yes, PFF did do a streak of like first round picks for a lot of teams, and USC is 7th on that list, having the streak beginning in the year 2020 of that draft, which is pretty cool. But yeah, Alabama does have the longest streak. I think they've had a guy selected in the first rounds of each draft since like 2008, 2009, something like that. So yeah, it pretty much shows how dominant they have been. But either way, hoping, and obviously USC is going to continue because Caleb Williams will be the #1 overall pick. Just have to keep this ride going and showing it to recruits and everything like that, so they know that if they come to USC, no matter what, as long as they do good and play good, they should be selected in the NFL draft and hopefully keep that first round selection streak continuing. And a couple players on the basketball side have entered the portal, as I mentioned, for USC basketball. Even though they did hire the new head coach within the last day or so, there's still guys entering just, I guess, to test the waters and whatnot. But one of the power forward / centers, Vince Iwuchukwu, entered the portal the other day, so that's tough because he's a big guy, over 7 foot. Then that 4-star small forward, Brody Kozlowski, who was an incoming freshman in this year's class, ended up requesting a release from his national letter of intent as well, just like Perry and Campbell did, who are also in the class with him. So hoping to get at least 1 or 2 of those guys back. I know they want to reopen it because they did commit to a different coach, but I think Musselman will be able to work his magic because he's already been on the phone nonstop, it seems like, because he has to put his staff together and looking through the transfer portal as of right now. But a lot of those guys have already been picking places, which is why I said it was bad timing when Enfield left for SMU, because it was just, the portal had already started like that first weekend or so of March Madness, or maybe sooner than that. But he's doing his best. He already got that one guy, Josh Cohen, from UMass, so we'll see who else he gets. And of course, the big news was Bronny James entering the transfer portal and declaring for the NFL draft. So I guess he's doing that to test out both waters. I don't know how long he'll have to be able to test the draft waters, but if he doesn't end up deciding to go in there, then he will most likely go and transfer somewhere else. Apparently, I know there's a place called Duquesne that LeBron's old high school coach is going to be now the head coach there, so a lot of people are linking him to go there to be able to just basically get all the minutes, all the plays, and try to show how good and talented he is. But there was also rumors that he might follow ex-USC coach Andy Einfeld to SMU, because apparently his girlfriend goes to school at SMU as well, so they're connecting the dots like that. But like everybody thinks, he might end up joining the NBA too, because doesn't seem like LeBron's going to be playing for that much longer either, but we'll just have to wait and see how this turns out. And just today, I saw something pop up on X that Duke softball beats North Carolina 6-4, so obviously it's pretty cool to beat a rival in any sport, but I was kind of almost surprised because either I forgot, or I think I forgot that Duke had a softball team. So I'm always kind of used to USC not having a softball team, which I always think is a wasted opportunity because all the talented players just end up going to schools that are pretty close because they kind of want to stay home, but they go to UCLA, Cal, Stanford, up there in Washington, the Arizona schools. So that's why those schools have had a nice history. But if USC had a softball team, they'd be killing it and winning everything, in my opinion. Because who wouldn't want to go to USC and play a good sport like softball either? So either way, we'll see what ends up happening. But yeah, that was pretty cool to see. Nice thing to get me to remember that they still have that sport. And then yes, the Anaheim Ducks did lose today to the Seattle Kraken 1-3. So yeah, that's pretty much bad news there. And then yeah, to end this off, the other day Cooper Flagg was awarded the Naismith Player of the Year, I think from Gatorade, and from ex-Duke player Paulo Banchero, who I believe won that award as well when he was graduating high school. So that was pretty cool. I knew I saw some pictures of them together, but I didn't know if it was officially released or not, and I think it was kind of officially announced either early April or late March, so I want to get that in so I don't have to think about talking about it again when it starts coming up. But yes, either way, he did pretty good. I think he even led his team to one of the high school championships, the state championship or something like that. So he's still doing pretty good while on his way to Duke. So definitely looking forward to that this next season coming up. Thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.